Welcome back. It's time for another episode of our community, the Hispanic business community here in Orange County, powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio. And today, well, we've got another tasty treat for us today here. John, who'd you bring in?
Well, welcome everybody to another Orange County Chamber of Commerce podcast show. We have another special guest with us today. Thank you all for tuning in. With us today, we have Tony Rodriguez, who's the owner, CEO of Spoons Grill and Bar. I like to consider him a community leader because let me tell you, this gentleman is always supporting many community events, many charity fundraisers. He's a family man. He loves to golf, and he loves making a difference in the community. So please welcome everybody, Mr. Tony Rodriguez.
Thank you, Johnny. That's a very nice introduction. It's an honor to be here. Thanks for the opportunity. And I'm here to have fun with you today.
Yes. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna talk about. We have a great event coming up at Tony's Restaurant, Friday, September 15th, with our Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and also with our good friend Jay, who's part of SBDN, the Small Business Diversity Network, which you know Jay well too, right?
Yes, great guy.
Often comes in there, right? Brings his group of people to eat there too.
He brings the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce, and very nice people. He's very involved too with the community, so it's a great person.
Yes. And the other person that we want to give a shout out to is Mr. Eddie Quiares, who I know you often golf with, who's part of our chamber.
Yes, he's actually my, I would say, my golf mentor.
He's your golf mentor?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to give him credit for that. He's the one that got me out there and introduced me to golf. So
how many years ago did you start golfing?
It's been only about 3 years.
3 years, okay.
Yeah, right around the pandemic.
Golf is such a difficult sport, but I know you and Eddie often come and golf either our charity golf tournaments or other charity golf tournaments I see you guys at.
We love those events.
What would you say in golf you enjoy the most? Obviously you enjoy the events, but what is it about the game that you enjoy the most?
You know, I play soccer all my life. I played soccer at San Diego State. I did pretty good. I had a scholarship. But when I was introduced to golf, it was more like that connection with Mother Nature. You know, you're out there, you're beautiful sceneries, you have creeks, you have beautiful trees. So I just got connected with just that. And then obviously running a restaurant, it's very stressful as it is. So it was just a great way to relax and distress, if you want to call it.
Which makes a lot of sense because a lot of pro athletes, right? They say that's what it does for them. It helps them relax. You're a former athlete, so that kind of makes sense too there.
Yeah. No, I can see the connection with the professional athletes too. They're pretty good too.
Yeah.
Most of them are good players.
They say baseball players end up being good golf players because of the swing, right? It's like a natural swing or something.
I guess, yeah.
You're like, no, soccer
no,
players.
because I've also heard that they have a little bit of a problem because they want to move their bodies like a baseball bat. So I think they struggle a little bit more than like a football player or any other athlete.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been around the golf game because of our golf charity fundraiser that we do every year, October 2nd, by the way, at Strawberry Farms, for our youth chamber. And I got to say, it's one of these events that it's great for business networking, right? Because you're with somebody for 4 hours, right? Golfing out there and you're having a good time, but you're also talking about friends and family and business. Wouldn't you say?
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's a great mix of conversations on the golf course. Sometimes it's business, then it's family, then it's relajo, you know, like we call it. So,
yeah.
and then obviously, you know, the fun starts when you have your first drink. You know, that's when the fun starts for me. I don't know. Sometimes I get better, and sometimes I get worse. So I can't blame them.
I've heard some people get better when they have a couple of, iced tea drinks. Let me ask you this, Tony, because we know our listeners and our viewers like to know our guests and who they are. Where did you grow up? Can you tell us a little bit about you?
Sure.
Where did you grow up? And just a little story about how you got to where you are today as a business owner.
Sure. Well, I have a pretty interesting life story. My parents brought me here when I was 1 year old from Michoacan.
That's my mom's state of Michoacán, Zamora,
Oh,
Michoacán.
all right, Zamora, I'm right next to it.
Okay.
A little town called Tangancicuaro.
Okay.
But Zamora used to be our kind of city to go to buy, the main things. But so I was brought here when I was 1 year old. Then, like most first generation Latinos, my parents always had the idea to go back, build their own home, and hopefully stay in Mexico again. So we did that when I was 10.
Okay.
My parents took me to Michoacan when I was 10, and we were there until I was 16. And my parents actually did build the house during those 5 years. They built a house, and it was a great experience. I could tell you that I had the best time ever.
Nice.
From 10 to 15 living in Michoacan.
Nice.
Then I came back when I was 16, started high school, went to Banning High School in Wilmington. So I come from a little bit from the hood,
The LA area.
LA area, yeah.
Okay.
It's Carson, Wilmington,
Okay,
pretty
nice.
close. And so
This is like in the 80s, would you say?
late 80s.
Late 80s. Okay.
Graduated in 1992 from high school.
That's right. 2 years right before I graduated in 94.
Yeah, so then I went to community college, did good in soccer, got a scholarship, and ended up going to San Diego State.
Real quick, you don't just get a scholarship in soccer. I mean, you must have been around soccer as a kid.
Oh yeah. Being when I was in Mexico, that's all I would do, play soccer all day. So I developed some good skills.
Really?
So when I came here to the States, I was really good. I mean, I started high school. I was MVP my first year, and I started community college. I was All-American, which I was the first Latino, or actually no, the first player from Los Angeles Harbor College to be All-American.
No way.
That was in 1994.
That's a big achievement.
Yeah.
That's a big achievement. So your dad got you into soccer, an uncle?
No, that's the weird thing. My dad
Really?
never played soccer.
Wow.
I didn't have any relatives, no one pushing me to play soccer other than my buddies in the neighborhood in
So
Michoacan.
you're just a natural soccer athlete.
I guess.
Picked it up quick.
I guess, yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So you're in high school, you're MVP.
I'm score leader, and did really well. The funny thing is, when I went to college, I was the first All-American. So guess what? They said, Tony and Coach, you guys have to go to Washington, D.C. There's an award that, gets presented to the players. And the school had no funds. They had no funds to send me to Washington, D.C.
That happens often. I hear about stuff like that.
Yeah. So it was funny. So I was kind of pretty bummed out.
You didn't get to go.
I did, but I had to really talk to my coach, and I don't know how he made it happen. I don't know if he even probably used some of his own money.
Oh, wow.
But him and I ended up going to Washington, D.C., and it was the best.
What's your coach's name? Let's give him a shout out.
Coach King.
Coach King. Shout out to Coach King if he ever watches this video. Coaches play such a huge role in our lives, right? Wouldn't you say? I mean, they're mentors. They're like father figures, a lot of them, right, to kids. So it's good that we give shout out to, of course, teachers and coaches.
For sure. Yeah, they deserve it. Big time.
So you go to Washington. What was that like?
It was amazing. I mean, imagine I was 17, going to 18. First time probably going away from home.
Yeah.
But my coach did a pretty good job making me feel comfortable. And the World Cup had just happened in the States, in the United States.
That's right.
And Brazil won it. And so when we were there were all kinds of coaches from the World Cup. I got to meet some of the players from the World Cup. I got to meet the United States coach at that time was Bora Milutinovic.
Okay.
So it was a fun experience. I have pictures. And it's just amazing. I have some articles on me, and it's just fun. Sometimes I get to see them.
So you ended up getting a scholarship then?
Yeah.
At some point, and being invited to join San Diego State University.
That's right.
This is the Aztecs.
That's the Aztecs.
That's
yeah.
right. One of our friends, you probably know, Big Dave. He's an Aztec.
Oh, of course. Oh, is he?
Yeah, he went to San Diego State. He played football there. Ended up with the Seahawks later.
Interesting.
So I don't know if you knew that, but he's an Aztec. Yeah.
I didn't know
he
that.
often brings some of his friends around the chamber and stuff.
Yeah,
so you're at San Diego State. What was that like? I mean, that's a pretty big school. That's a high level of sports.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. When you have the opportunity to go someplace that you had no idea you were going to go, because I had no idea to go there.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay local, close to my parents. but that was kind of like one of those feelings of accomplishments,
Yeah.
like, you know. And so I had a great time. I was there for 2 years.
That's awesome.
And then my final year, I decided to transfer to Vanguard University here in Costa Mesa.
That's right. They're one of our partners of our chamber.
Okay.
Such a great university.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So they actually recruited me to play the last year of my eligibility at Vanguard, and I decided to come, and that's how I ended up here in Orange County, and I haven't left ever since. I fell in love with Orange County.
That is great.
Yeah, so that's kind of like my experience growing up.
How did you end up in the restaurant business? How did you end up being an entrepreneur? What happened? And a lot of our listeners are members of our chamber, business owners, entrepreneurs, and a lot of the mentees that we mentor in our youth chamber. Can you share a little bit about that story? How did you end up, being now business? Because there's 3 restaurants, right? Not just
That's
one.
right. Yep.
There's 3 Spoons, and Spoons. I remember back in the 80s, 90s, right? I mean, it was like
80s.
the place. It was
Yes.
like Chili's today, right? Like everybody knew
That's right.
Spoons, right?
That's right.
Which is great that you took on that responsibility of such a famous franchise.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's an interesting story how I ended up with Spoons. I grew up in the restaurant industry. When I was in high school, my aunt had a restaurant in Wilmington, and she gave me the opportunity to work for her when I was 15 and a half. Well, as soon as I got back from Mexico, almost 16 at that time. So I worked with her for about 2 years. And sometimes I feel like there's going to be things in your subconscious that will never leave you, So sometimes you do something as a kid, and then then you forget about it, you go into something else. But I tell people that I think the restaurant industry never left my subconscious. And when I had the opportunity to invest in Spoons, I took it because I was doing home loans right out of college.
Okay.
I was doing home loans for Bank of America, Wells Fargo, so I was doing pretty well. I invested in some real estate, so there was no restaurants in my plans or in my
In your
life,
vision board.
in my vision board, nothing
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, one of my good friends who was managing Spoons, the one I have in Santa Ana, he mentioned to me, "Hey Tony, they're going to be selling Spoons, and you should look into it. It's a good business. I'm the manager. I can show you the numbers, and I think it'll be a good thing for you." So to make it short, I jumped on it, and I got into Spoons as a franchisee. I had to, like any other franchise, I had to pay my royalty fees
Of
and
course.
stuff like that. So that was only for the first 2 years, and then after that, the franchise company went bankrupt.
Oh wow.
It's a long story, but when that happened, I had 2 choices: either leave the business or stay with the business and obviously take it to the next level, which I did. I decided to buy the trademark when they were going through their bankruptcy proceedings. So I was able to buy the name, the trademark. So that's how I basically took over the franchise. And it's been a roller coaster ride, I have to tell you. It hasn't been easy.
Like any business, right? It's tough.
They say that any business, it takes about 2 to 3 years to kind of get a little idea of what you're doing, but it's taken me quite a bit of time to feel that I'm where I want to be, But thank God we're still here, and we have 3 locations now, and we're always looking for ways to innovate, either with different marketing strategies or food. We introduce new items, we take some new items out, so it's just a constant maneuvering, if you want to call it.
It's interesting because I want to share briefly how you and I lately have been connected more, right? Through our friend Thomas. Shout out to Thomas.
Yes, Thomas.
Yeah, and so we would go to these mixers there, and of course, when I started going back to Spoons, it really, for me, it was like, wow, this is like the place when I was a kid that, it's weird, but like my parents couldn't afford to go to those kind of places, right? Because I was that Hispanic kid who, maybe we would eat once a month out in the street, right? Like a fast food place. It was tortilla, frijoles, and you name it at home, right? And so to see Spoons, right? I'm glad you kept the name, and that you took that risk, because when I drive by there and I see the name off the 55, by the way, off of 55 in Dyer is Spoons, 2601 Hotel Terrace in Santa Ana, in case some of you haven't been there. It's really, for me, it's also part of Santana. There's a history there. So I think the fact that you kept the name, you may not know this, but for us Santaneros that were born and raised there, when we see the name, it reminds us of us growing up in Santa Ana, because I went to Century High School, right down the street on
yes.
Grand.
Yes, I know where it's
Right?
at. Yeah.
So thank you for that. That you took that other step and said, you know what, I'm gonna look to keep the trademark. That says a lot. Not everybody would have done that.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, keeping the name was a challenge, because you had a franchise that was basically gone,
Yeah.
dissolved. There used to be 18 locations in Orange County.
18?
18 in Orange
Wow.
County. There used to be one in Oceanside, one in Riverside, and 3 up north by San Francisco.
Wow.
So I did have some people trying to get me to change the name, but something told me not to, because to me the name was the value of the business. And I'm glad I did keep the name, because throughout this 17 years that I've been at Spoons,
Wait, let's just say that again. 17 years.
17
that's not
years.
like 5 years, 3 years. 17. You're going to hit your 20-year mark pretty soon.
Pretty soon.
That says a lot. Congratulations.
Yeah, and I told my friends I'm happy I still have hair, after being there for 17
That's
years.
because he has good food there. That's why.
That's true.
Good food keeps you good hair. Okay?
I think that's right, Johnny. So, anyways, Spoons, that particular location on Hotel Terrace Drive, it's been there since '83.
Yeah.
So 40 years. So it's pretty iconic, with a lot of people from Orange County. And every time I'm with my wife or by myself at any event and I mention Spoons, it's amazing all the great feedback that we get from all kinds of people. Could be young, old. And I'm happy to say that all of them are good stories. All of them.
I want to briefly say, I want to say 20 years ago, our friend Beatrice and our Centurion friends did like a little reunion of our Century, like alumni, and it was at Spoons.
That's right. That was like maybe 6-7 years ago.
Was that 6-7 years ago?
I think so.
Okay, maybe that was another reunion, because we've had several reunions, and it's part of Santana.
Yes.
It's part of our
Yeah.
culture. And I think the other thing that's really cool is, I noticed the other day when I was at your parking lot, there is no longer a building blocking your view from the freeway there. I don't know if there ever was, but it's an empty space.
That's right.
So off the freeway, you can see the sign really clear.
Yes, because that's where the Crazy Horse used to be at.
Is that what it was? Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's like an empty lot now.
Yeah.
I was in the parking lot and I looked over and I'm like, wow, what a clear view to the freeway. That's huge for marketing for a business,
Yes,
right? Being off the
yes.
freeway.
It
Again,
helps.
off of Dyer, folks. Off the 55 freeway, off of Dyer, Spoons. Club sandwich is my favorite. You said the other thing is the pasta?
I was telling Johnny earlier that he loves the club sandwich, but he hasn't had the number one item on the menu, which is our tequila penne pasta.
I got to be
And-
careful with the carbs, man. I got to be careful
Well,
with the
come
carbs.
on, Johnny. Once in a while, it's not too bad. And by the way, they were giving me a hard time about not having food here because I had no clue I was supposed to, but it's on its way.
It's on its way.
I made a call and it'll be here, so Paul and Johnny can taste the
Look at Paul.
I
tequila.
love it. My mouth is watering already.
You know what's really good too, by the way, is when I order the club sandwich, it comes with fries. And the fries there, I got to tell you, I love that they're the old school, like big fries, the thick ones. I love those.
Oh yeah, they're the
Those are
nice.
signature fries.
Yes.
So where are the other two locations?
The other two locations, Paul, they're inside the Aries Hotel. One of them is in Found Valley, and the other one's in the city of Orange. So I was fortunate enough to have the Aries family give us the opportunity to run their restaurants inside their hotels. and I'm happy to say we're doing a good job. They're already talking about giving us a couple more.
Really?
They're huge. I don't know
So
who they are or where they came from, but those, however you say it, Aries or Airs or whatever it is.
Aries,
It's
Aries Hotel.
AYRES.
Yes.
I've had out of town family stay at. There's a bunch of them here in Southern California.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we pick not the Marriott or the one of the Hiltons or the Hyatts or any of these other places. They are really nice hotels to stay at. And
Oh,
there are
yeah.
a whole bunch of them all around here.
That is great. What a great partnership you made with them,
Yes.
which says a lot about your customer service
Yes.
and your operations.
Yes.
Because for an organization or a business or a family that's that huge to say, hey, we're going to trust you.
You know, it's a funny story. They had to choose from about 10 restaurants that they were presented to them, and they decided to go to all of them to check them out, you know, and try their food and see the concept. And there's a funny story because they showed up. It was two brothers and their general manager, and they ordered we suggested the tequila penne pasta. And it was funny because one of the gentlemen that was with them, when they were about to leave, he said to me, Tony, they never take food leftovers home, but because the pasta it's a little filling, it's kind of big portion. So for the first time, he saw the Aries family, the owners, ask for it to go because they wanted to take that pasta because it was so good.
What?
So that was a selling point for us.
Wow.
And then obviously they like the customer service and everything. And if I may ask, if I may add a little bit to our food quality, I'm very proud to say that when Spoons was a franchise, they used to have every franchise, every big company, they have what they call their executive chefs.
Okay.
The executive chefs are the ones who obviously do the recipes. They're the ones who every time the company wants to do any new items or try new things, these are the executive chefs that work on presenting new items to the companies, right? So when I bought the trademark, I made sure that I kept those executive chefs, and I'm proud to say that my executive chefs are the original ones that ran the company when it was big and strong. These guys used to go to San Jose, San Francisco. Every time they would open a new
And these
restaurant,
guys are still with you
they're
now?
still with me.
You're kidding me.
Domingo and Mario.
Shout
which
out to
I like
Domingo and Mario.
So,
know,
do you
so-
ever have any ideas of re-franchising it back out to the world?
Yes, that's a good question, Paul.
So Paul just asked if for those of you listening on Facebook too, and I know if he's interested in refranchising it and growing it again, right?
Yes, that is going to be my goal. Hopefully soon. It's been like I said, a very difficult ride this last 17 years because we had the situation in 2008, 2009 with the recession.
Yeah.
Remember? That was,
And the pandemic, and nobody
Then
can
the
go to a
pandemic.
restaurant.
And then this little thing called the pandemic. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That just
Nobody can
veered us
go
off.
out and eat for a couple of years.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
So it's been a little difficult to kind of get that project going, but eventually, hopefully in the next 5 years, I do want to see at least another 5-6 Spoons out there and take it gradually. But yes, Paul, that's
And I want to make sure we give a shout out to his wife, because I know your wife plays a huge role, right, in your
Yes.
business. I met her a
Yes.
few times, and just a beautiful person. So, we can't do what we do in our lives, right, as married couples without the support of our wives.
That's for sure. Thank you, Johnny. Yeah, my wife Fabiola, shout out. Yeah, she's been a great support for me and Spoons. She helps me with the books. She's always giving me ideas. She's always, pushing me to, grow, which is it's huge. You got to have that kind of support behind you. Otherwise, it's hard to grow like that.
Yeah, the restaurant business, for those of you that don't know, it's one of the most challenging business they say out there. Like, the number is insane of how many restaurants fail, right? Like when they start the first
And it's
5 years.
24/7. If you're not there, there's
yeah.
always a fear that it doesn't run the way you want it to.
And not only
that's
that,
the
but when you
challenge.
look at food costs today,
Oh.
it's insane, right? Food costs. So keeping your food costs down and being able to keep all your staff, and nowadays you can't even find enough workers. I mean, there's a lot of challenges restaurant owners are facing today.
You're talking him out of it. He's gonna
No, no, no.
sell it
I'm,
today.
I'm trying to show everybody that's listening that
It's a very different. I was in that business too
to
for a
be
while,
to
yeah.
be 17 years to be in business. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, it says a lot.
Well, when I was in business school, I remember back in those days, they used to tell us the restaurant business is the number one failure business in the country.
I didn't want to say that, but
And
that's
I don't think I was smart enough, obviously, because I got into it. I didn't pay attention well enough. But like I said, it's just life takes you in directions that you had no idea you were going to end up. I never thought I was going to end up in this environment, but I'm very proud and I'm very happy I'm in it.
But I'm gonna tell you the reason why I think you're very successful in your restaurant business. We've had many guests on the show, and I know one of the things that a former guest once said was, you got to never stop touching the business, right? I notice you're there like all the time on a regular basis. I know you got things you got to go do, but that's important because then your guest, right? You're the face. Even though you have an amazing staff and all that, you're the face of the business. So the fact that you're always there, if I walk in or Thomas walks in or Felix walks in, some of our friends, right? They're going to see Tony. Hey, Tony, how are you? And then, that makes, as a customer, it makes you feel like you're at home. It's like walking into somebody's
Yes,
home, right?
Yes.
So that plays a huge role, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yes, of course, of course. Any successful business, I feel like it has to have the main face there. It doesn't have to be 24/7, but it's important for the customers, like you said. It's important even for the employees because they see that you care about the business. And if you don't show that to your staff, to your people, that you care about the business, it's very hard for you to get them to care for your business. So even though I'm not there 24/7, when I'm there, they know that I'm there, and they know I care for the business. So yeah, it is very important for the owners. I have some great regulars at my restaurant that we have developed for years, and every year we do a appreciation dinner during Christmas time.
Nice.
And it's like one of them said to me, Tony, this is like going to prom. I get excited every time you do this dinner.
Wow.
And a lot of them are older folks.
That's
They're like,
nice.
and they're retired people, business
Like
people.
Paul's age.
Well, right around there, yeah. So, but I'm there. My wife and I.
Wait, I gotta go
Paul's
take a
like,
pill here.
Paul,
Sorry, Paul, it wasn't me.
Paul, I'm trying to get you on the VIP list. I'm trying to get you on the list. What do you mean? You love to eat, right?
I do.
But anyways, Johnny. But yeah, that is so important for you to show and show your.
Well, I think it's great that you care so much about your staff, like you said, right? Because that's important. As employees, that makes them feel good. Like, hey, my boss cares about us, about the business, like you said, right? He's not always gone. Yes, I see you at golf charity events, but that's important. You need that escape too.
Yeah.
You need that stress reliever, like you said. Running a business is tough, right?
Yeah.
But I want to make sure we remind everybody and thank Tony and Spoons Bar and Grill, or Grill and Bar, about our September 15th event that we're going to be having there. I want to thank Tony for having us because this, Hispanic Heritage Month is a very important month in our culture. And the fact that we're doing El Grito, right? The big kickoff at your restaurant.
Yeah. Huge event.
Yes, we're going to have Mariachi Los Reyes there and Angel NG, who is a young superstar singer. And we're going to have a baile folclórico there. We're going to have a lot of our members, board members, our advisory board. And so we want to make sure we invite the community to come out, be a part of the event. It kicks off at 4 o'clock. Obviously, the restaurant's open a lot early if they want to come by.
Yes.
Because you open every day around 11?
11.
Okay.
11.
So
11.
Monday through Friday, right? And also 11, right? And
Every
then weekends,
day, 11 to 9.
11 to 9.
So.
Yeah. And then, so September 15th is our Hispanic Heritage Month kickoff event. However, please know that weekends, you also have like really cool bands there, right?
Yeah. I actually started having entertainment during the 2008-2009 recession, and that helped me a lot to stay open. But that's when I introduced my Fridays and Saturdays
Okay.
nights as an entertainment for
Nice.
people. We have live bands,
Yeah.
salsa, merengue, norteño, banda, you name it. So come on Friday, September 15th. It's going to be a fun event with mariachi. And then you guys are welcome to stay after some salsa and
Yes.
cumbia and all that stuff happening after.
We also have a DJ that day with us, my friend DJ Joe, who will be there DJing throughout the event. And so we're going to have a little bit of everything. And I know that, it is Hispanic Heritage Month, so we must have a little bit of tequila. So any of you that enjoy tequila, our friends from, the Spoons are welcome to take care of you that day if any of you wish to have a little bit of, tequila. Tesoro Azteca Tequila is one of our
And some
partners.
tequila
They're going to be there.
penne pasta.
Tequila penne pasta, right? Yes. Look, I'm telling you, Paul's hungry. Paul really wants some of that pasta. I personally love the club sandwich. That's just my, And I know you also have really good hot wings. I took some hot wings to my wife one night, and she really loved them.
That's our number 2 item on the menu.
Okay, see,
Yeah.
I got it. Number 2 item, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, you have fajitas and many other stuff on the
Yes,
menu.
yes. We have a little bit of everything: salads, ribeyes, salmon, hamburgers, tacos, burritos, enchiladas, chile rellenos.
Ooh, man. How about the
it's a-
chimichangas that you were talking about earlier
Oh,
that I
man.
love, by the way? Are those catering? You could do those, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Chimichangas are like a little. It's an appetizer, little
Very good.
taquitos, but it's unique. You guys have to come and try them.
Yes. Come out and try the food. Again, Spoons Grill and Bar, 2601 Hotel Terrace in Santa Ana, right off the 55 freeway in Dyer. Tony, thank you for being here. I know time goes by fast. Shout out to the family, the wife, the kids.
Yes.
And what's the date for the event again? Here?
Again, Friday, September 15th. The event will kick off at 4 o'clock. We're expecting actually the mayor to stop by, Valerie Mesqua. So
It goes
we're gonna,
for what, about 4 hours or something?
yeah, a couple hours. The first couple hours, business networking, having fun, and then we'll have the show. And like Tony said, you're welcome to stay afterwards and have a good time.
Well, thank you, Johnny, and thank you again for having me here. It was a great experience. I was a little nervous, but you're such a cool guy that I relaxed right away. And
He
then
is.
Paul,
Isn't he a cool guy?
And then Paul too. And I also want to thank everybody who's watching and listening, because I know that a lot of you guys have supported me this last 17 years. I know a lot of you guys, and you guys are wonderful people, and I look forward seeing you guys and working with you guys and doing events together. And Spoons, you guys are always welcome.
Here we
Thank
go.
you.
Thank you, Paul, and let's take it away. We'll see you guys Friday, September 15th, folks. Have a good one.
Well, there you have it. One more reason to tune in each and every time to meet our community, the Hispanic business community here in Orange County, powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.